Welcome back to Profits of IT. I'm Jim Punzenberger, your host, creator of ManagedProspectingSystem.com. Managed Prospecting System brings IT service providers authority content, LinkedIn outreach, targeted email, podcast content, which is a backdoor into your ideal prospects. And not to mention, it's all done for you every week. So check out ManagedProspectingSystem.com after the show. Today, I'm excited to have Jim Kinsey, founder and CEO of Global Accountability Corp, a Marine veteran, award-winning television producer, documentary maker, songwriter, and he has the coolest walk-up song because it's one he wrote himself. And not to mention that he's used for UFC fights. Is that correct? Did I get that right?
Yes, it is. Yeah, thank you, Jim, for having me on the Profits of IT. Really cool. The podcast name is really cool. I like that.
Thank you.
That right there, right out of the gate, is it's an award-winning name. So, but yeah, really cool to be here. I'm really excited to talk to your listeners today about kind of how I got to where I am. Like I said, CEO of Global Accountability Corp, and we can start talking about some of the current projects I'm working on and so forth.
Yeah, give us a quick, 30 seconds on Global Accountability Corp and what you're working on.
Yeah, so right now we have multiple patents that basically we're building a platform called Absolute Identity. Everybody talks about different types of identity. We call it Absolute ID. It's a patented identity platform. It makes sure or verifies that the right person is performing the right action um, in the right place at the right time. I guess that's the best way to describe it. And that's what we're building over there. So think about it as using geospatial with policy and logic to apply the who to the who, where, when. So that's what we're creating. It's a pretty cool uh,
Wow,
platform, and we're really excited. Yeah,
sounds like an exciting time there.
it is. Yeah,
So let's jump right into, is it okay if I ask you a few questions?
absolutely. I'd love to answer anything. Yeah, for sure.
So what's on my mind right now is what would you say is the biggest misconception when it comes to AI right now?
Oh yeah, sure. I think the biggest misconception in artificial intelligence, it, there's a couple different ways to look at that question. I think that people are so they're looking at it like it's going to take over the world. I think that is not true. I think which goes to something else I'm currently working on. I can't completely resolve or tell you everything I'm working on it, but everybody thinks the world's going to be taken over by AI and this and that, but I'm working on a product that will actually is put guardrails on AI, and it's inside of a governance system. It's an operating system I'm working on. But anyway, that's about all I can reveal on that. But so
Mhm.
that's, I think, the biggest thing people think, and it's I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So another question for you. What's a phrase or philosophy in tech that makes you roll your eyes?
Oh yeah. So in the Marine Corps, I learned improvise, adapt, and overcome. I've used that philosophy in my entire, through the Marine Corps. I was stationed in Kaneohe Bay, Hawaii, but I was an aviation structural mechanic and welder. But during boot camp, that's what they taught us. So I've applied that to my life, from filmmaking to going from filmmaking to the current thing, a position I'm in now. So I think that's something that makes me want to get up every day and make something happen and pivot if life throws you a lemon.
Mhm. So also you have a unique combination of being a Marine, a TV producer, a songwriter, and inventor. That's I wouldn't say that those are common things that go together. Uh, so any specific skills that you've developed by
Sure.
binding these unique things together?
Yeah, absolutely. So at the end of the day, to be, I think, a good songwriter, producer, inventor, you have to be able to tell a story. You have to look at the very first piece of the puzzle and say, okay, what is going on here? How can I solve that? And the way I break it down in my brain is each specific piece or component is like what you would put into a timeline. And every single clip gets to the end result. And the end result is a product that you can sell. And a lot of time during that discovery, what I found is I find a new category that's never been invented before. And that's where my inventing thing, comes through. My great grandfather was the invented the very first prosthetic arm, William T. Carnes. So I think it comes from my lineage, but I've also learned through, trial and error and ups and downs that's the way my brain assesses everything.
Cool. So I also like to ask guests about, what I call $1 million learning moment or something that you've learned over your career from something that didn't go right the way you expected
Mhm.
it. So
Yeah.
what would you
Uh,
say is one big $1 million learning moment you've had in your career?
mm.
And tell us about that.
Oh man, I think the biggest thing that I've learned in my career was, don't don't try to compete with Reebok or Under Armour or any of those guys on a producer's salary. I started a lifestyle brand called Open the Cage Gear. I still got all the stuff and the .coms. But when I was creating that, when I was producing television, I thought I could hang. And I had some pretty famous people like from Naked and Afraid, Laura Zara, and other people wearing my stuff. But to try to constantly turn and burn and try to compete with people on a producer salary. So I think the biggest lesson was don't try to do too many things at one time. Really stay focused. Don't chase the squirrel, I guess.
Stay focused.
Yeah,
Yes,
man,
that's
stay
an
focused.
important thing. Uh, so, uh, what has you excited right now in your world about absolute identity? And
Mhm.
uh, if
Sure.
you pique somebody's interest, what would be a good way to connect with you?
So right now, the most exciting thing that I think, well, a lot of exciting things, some things I can't talk to, but some I can. Our platform is hardened. Absolute identity, is hardened. Uh, and uh, the amount of people that are coming at us for the use cases is outside of the realm of anything I'd ever thought possible. Things we never thought about because customers have real problems. Some of those real problems are being solved with something we didn't really build the platform for. We didn't know it could do that. So what's happening is we're getting everything from the federal government to enterprise, small companies that just need something, to along the line for the identity, who, where, when, and how piece. And but yeah, that's basically one of the biggest things that we've uncovered. And then to follow me, you can catch me on LinkedIn, Jim Kinsey, or on Spotify at Apple Artist or Pandora, Jim Kinsey, my artist page. You can follow me on whether artist or if you want to check out my technology, I'm on LinkedIn.
Well, we'll include those links in the show notes. So, listeners, check the show notes below for links to what Jim just mentioned.
Yeah. Well, appreciate you having me on today. It's really been cool.
Well, I appreciate you coming on and sharing. It's been great. Any final thoughts before we wrap up here?
Final thoughts, man. When somebody says you can't do something or that you'll be back to your regular day job, don't believe the hype. Show them what you're made of. Be the 1%er. Wake up every day, crush it. I mean, otherwise, yeah, just crush it. That's what I say. Make it happen.
Crush it. I like that.
Hmm.
And until next time, I'm Jim Punzenberger, your host and creator of ManageProspectingSystem.com. Now would be a great time to check out ManageProspectingSystem.com. And thanks again, Jim. And thank you for, most part, I would want to thank you for serving our country as a Marine.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It was really fun being on the Profits of IT. You guys are super cool program. I love your setup and excited to learn more.
And until next time, stay hydrated and caffeinated. Bye for now.